a Thursday night. So I'll spare you the obvious. Organization day at the shop. Alex was there early in the morning. Car's done. Chassis outside, it's out back, it's picked clean, so that means the suspension and the subframes and all of that stuff was all over the shop floor. So all of that further taken apart, cleaned, labeled, organized, went through all the shelves, kind of just organized stuff. I had suspension parts and transmission parts over here and over there. I just try to put everything in one place now so I have a better idea of what I have and what I don't. That was the day at the shop. What I want to talk about tonight is probably going to annoy some of you, and you can just leave now and that's fine, and I will not hold it against you. But it's important to me, and maybe it's important to somebody else. Sync. Oh, we're going to talk about iTunes again. I know, I'm the only person left that still syncs a phone. I plug it in once a week, twice a month, 3 times a month, whatever. And I click sync. I buy my music in iTunes, I download it, I put it in a playlist. My pictures that I have from the T5i, from this camera, from the iPhone, whatever, I import into the Photos app and organize in an album. And weekly or bi-weekly, I like to update my phone and sync the latest music and the latest photos from my Mac, the mothership of all electronics, out to the peripheral devices. If I have an iPad, then it goes to the iPad, an iPhone to the iPhone, an Apple Watch to the Apple Watch, whatever. The Mac is the home. So for years now, I mean, back when I first got an iPod, I had a 3rd gen iPod Touch in black, space gray, whatever they call it, 8 gig. Sync was flawless. It was quick. If you added a song and clicked sync, and 5 seconds later, there it was, right where you thought it was going to be every time. And then you had to eject the device and you were good. Sync was perfect. Nobody else had anything like it. Like Microsoft tried with the Zune, complete failure. Nobody ever bought them. I haven't seen one since middle school. Fast forward a couple of years, and Apple gets lazy, and they start to put things in the cloud because people are too lazy to sync. And the cloud is great for stuff like Keychain and Safari. But when it comes to large data management that's constantly changing, songs are an average of, 3.5 megabytes, a picture's an average, it grows every year, maybe 4 megabytes with .heic compression. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked in years. I've bitched about it forever. It syncs backwards. It'll sync my phone to the iTunes library, and then I have to go in recent purchases or purchased or whatever they call that, and then drag them back out to the albums that I already assigned them to. Stuff doesn't copy. It copies too few, too many duplicates. It's just been a disaster of an experience for years. So I remember the Apple event a year ago. OS Catalina. We're doing away with iTunes. My heart sank. It's like, shit, do you have to subscribe to Apple Music now? No. Music is fine. The new app I actually like. I think it's a bit of an improvement over what we've had. But Sync has moved out of the music application and into the Finder, which sounded promising to me. I'm thinking to myself, okay, Finder's a lot more powerful and a lot more integral to the system than a music app, right? So they put it in Finder. Today I decide, okay, this might take 5 minutes, this might take 5 hours. I plug in my phone and I open Finder, and there it is. It showed up under devices, and you click it, and it looks pretty much just like it did in iTunes. The same menus, kind of the same graphics. You have to make Finder bigger. I just dragged it up to the top of my screen, and it went full screen, and that's how I was able to get an actual good look at what's going on in there. But kind of as expected, I had to resync everything, even though I just set my phone up as new a couple of weeks ago, but that was inside OS... Shit, what was the last version of Mac OS? El Capitan, that was years ago. I have no idea what the last version, High Sierra? I don't know what the last version of Mac was. 10.14, whatever that was. I set it up as new in there, synced it with iTunes. That doesn't work anymore. So you got to resync, not a big deal. You just have to resync music and photos. So I do that, and my first complaint of a couple, is that there's no more progress bar. You don't have an idea of, iTunes would say you're step 4 of 6, you're syncing photos, number 419 of 421, and you can watch the progress bar go and count the photos, right? Same thing with songs. Song number 1938 of 2167, and you could just look at it and see how far it was. That is no more. you get this little pie chart thing that fills up full like 6 different times and then goes to some spinning arrows, and you have zero indication of the progress of the sync. So I've already gone to Apple's support website and submitted a feature request for a more usable progress bar, because that's absolutely worthless. So after that, photos were fine. Photos synced beautifully. So credit where credit is due. Photo sync works. Then I look at music. And my main playlist has 2,202 songs in it. I know that's a weird way of organizing things. It's the way I do it. Let me do it. All the songs are there. But the weird part of that is songs that I have added to the library on or after August 22nd, 2019 are at the bottom of the playlist. I organize the playlist by date added. So I want the newest songs at the top, the oldest songs added to the playlist at the bottom. That's the way I do it. Let me do it. So anything added after August 22nd was at the bottom. But above that, it was chronological until August 22nd. So I removed the whole library, resynced the library, still like that. Googled it, couldn't find anything other than the fact that a ton of people are complaining about playlist sync in Catalina. It's all over the place. It doesn't work very well, the progress bar issue. So I just figured that's how it's going to be. Well, Bobby does some research, and thank God I have friends like this that are this resourceful. Finds this thing that if you right-click the name of the playlist in iTunes or Music, there's this option that's like, I totally forget what it was called now, but it's like copy list or something. It's towards the bottom. But if you click that on every single playlist, then delete the whole library from the phone, and then resync it, now they're in the right order. And it synced every single song in the right order with the album artwork, with all the metadata. It actually worked. Now, the test will be in 2 weeks when I've added 8 songs and go to sync again. Do I have to delete the whole library and resync every single time I sync? Or is it smart enough to just work and add the new songs on top of the old songs? It's such an easy thing I'm trying to do. I don't understand why it's such a headache. But that was my morning. That was 9 to noon today, figuring that out. And then the shop, and we already talked about that. We're way too long, and I'm tired and need to get to bed. So we'll talk tomorrow. Leave your thoughts below. When was the last time you synced your phone? My guess is most of you are going to say like 2010, because I'm the only person left that still syncs a phone. Whatever. Talk Friday.